Thank you very much for coming. I'm Sue Annear, I'm the Vice Chairman. Unfortunately, Sam Skinner, the Chairman, is unable to come this evening, so it's calling on me to chair the meeting. I shall do my best. It's still all but new for me, so thank you very much. So I'd like to ask Graham, please, for the apologies. Beg your pardon.
Can I've got something from Sam.
Oh, yes.
Oh, is that all right?
Yes, please, carry on.
Our chairman has asked me to say thank you to our town keepers, Ali, Mick, Dan and Kerry, for the light display, Christmas tree, Santa and sleigh, Father Christmas grotto, transforming the back garden and going far beyond what is expected of them to achieve a truly spectacular display. To John Maxim and Jill Blanchard, who played Father and Mrs. Christmas, to Sue Annear, Lou Atkins and our delightful elves. They all worked so patiently to get through the seemingly never-ending queue of children. Well done and thank you. To Graham, Donna and Jackie, without his assistance in booking stalls, arranging entertainment and such tasks as road closures, the event could not have been held. Lastly, thank you to all those who contributed by running stalls and coming along to make the Christmas fair and turning on of the lights such a huge success yet again. We have had people from far and wide commenting on the magnificent display, and I think it's safe to say that we've really put Brandon on the map. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone. And that'll be minuted, won't it?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Apologies, yes?
Yes, apologies, please.
Right. I have got apologies noted and accepted from Jane Lloyd Blackwell, Councillor Whiteman, Councillor Ridgewell, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Skinner, Councillor Moore and Councillor Atkins.
Right. Item 2, declaration of interest and addition to members' register of interest. Okay. Yes?
Okay, I am leaving the room for duration of item 11. Keith, please come and get me after I thought you dealt with that. That's in the book.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Any other comments? No? Thank you. We were due to receive a report from Squadron Leading Geary this evening, but as you can see, he hasn't attended, so never mind. We also were to receive a report from Community Sergeant Peter Maxwell, but he hasn't come either. So we shall move on to item number 5, urgent business. Any items the Chairman considers a matter of urgent business to be submitted no less than 48 hours prior to the meeting or by discussion with the Chairman. And I understand, Graham, there are none.
Nothing that I've heard about.
No. Item 6, to receive written report from the Town Clerk. That we have in our packs. Do you want to read it out, or the members of the public?
We've read it.
Yes, okay. Everybody's read it. Fine, thank you. Item number 7 is the public forum, limited to 3 minutes duration maximum per resident. This includes the reports from county, district and any councillors, also community group representatives. I suggest that we start with the...
Can I just butt in?
Yes.
Need to have a vote to suspend standing orders.
Beg your
I
pardon.
propose, Madam Chair. Second.
Says suspend standing orders. Yes. Vote. Thank you. Sorry about that. My misprocedure.
No, it's just carry on.
Keep trucking.
Yeah. Right. Do I say that again then? About public forum.
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with the county council, please. Councillor Kennick, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'd like to thank Graham Allison and the whole team for the Christmas lights. They really have done us brag. First issue is the infamous Mercedes, what was on the London Road there. I've received multiple complaints on that, so I politely went and spoke to the owner. There was some debate on the doorstep whether the two wheels were an obstruction on the curb, but anyway, he was persuaded to move it in the end, so he did help eventually. And as a footnote, I am intended to put double yellow lines between that incident there and the Chinese restaurant, hopefully to stop some of those incidents. My second issue is the miniature glacier what appeared down the high street during the week. That was due to a leaking ball valve in the roof void, and the overflow was directed on the footpath. Well, you can't do things like that. So once again, I had a quiet word with the owner of the Chinese restaurant, and he did get a plumber in to redirect the overflow. And I do believe it's the other side of the building. I'll keep an eye on that, but fingers crossed that has been resolved. And finally, Madam Chair, some of us may have heard that devolution is on the way in Suffolk. I have no idea how this will benefit Brandon in terms of investment, housing, education or transport. In fact, one commentator, reliable commentator, has already described it, and I quote, an underfunded damp squib. So what we'll do, Madam Chair, we'll just have to watch this space, and that concludes my county report for Brandon Town Council.
Can I just ask a question? Do you know whether we're going to be getting a leader or a mayor?
Well, from what I've heard is it won't be a mayor. It'll just be an elected leader. That's what I've heard. I'll try and keep you updated as things unfold, but I mean, don't expect a great, massive financial turnaround in the county.
Well, I mean, the first news we've got was that Norfolk and Suffolk were going to get mayors. Then something else came afterwards saying there's to be a directly elected leader of the council, which, well, I suppose that might be better, because if you have an elected mayor, it's another expensive sinecure like the Police and Crime Commissioner.
Absolutely, another level of bureaucracy.
Yeah. And what is the Police and Crime Commission? How many crimes has he commissioned?
Yeah, that's right. Point taken, Councillor Van.
Any other questions to Councillor Kennick, please? No? Thank you. So I'll move on to the district councillors, please. Who would like to go first?
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody who's involved in the lights in Brandon. Far and wide, people love them. People come through Brandon. I've had phone calls and messages that everybody says they're the best they've ever seen. Okay, right, for lottery service in Brandon, it's ongoing. I'm going up the NHS ladder, climbing the hill. Bureaucracy is everywhere, but we're getting towards the top. I'm sure we'll get there in the next few months. Brandon Daycare Centre, the issues I've been having are slowly being resolved. I hope we can get them fully resolved by the end of January. What's the other issue? That's it, the street lights issue, that's ongoing. There's been lots of debate from different sides. Some of the arguments are incorrect, but the issues remain unresolved. But there's a team of us working on them, and I'm sure we'll get that resolved in the next few months, or at worst the next year. That's all. Thank you.
I have a question, if I may.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple. Is so the phlebotomy service, you're doing your best to get it sorted out. So Brandon will have, you hope.
Right. Okay. First of all, I was told that Forest Surgery is not part of their contract. Say no more. Then they haven't got the room. Okay. So we've found the room, professional service. Then they said to me, we haven't got anybody to do it. Well, I found somebody to do it. Okay. So that means ticking all the boxes. And then I've got a line of bureaucracy to go to, about 15 people, to go through to get approval or to verify the need for the service. Which, 7,500 people using the service and then suddenly stopped. That's the need, obviously, really. But it's being worked on, and some people I'm working with are quite nice and helpful. But there's a lot of bureaucracy there, but we're getting there. I've been away for 3 days to a funeral in the West Camp. We'll come back today, and the first thing I was on to people this afternoon. They had 3 emails regarding that, and I've been chasing them up. And I should be talking to a lady called Elizabeth Mahoney, who's the head of Essex and Suffolk, tomorrow morning, hopefully.
Good.
Okay, anything else, right? No question?
No, that's a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much,
Okay.
and I'm pleased that Brandon might actually find the benefit for your hard work and have
I shan't stop
essential, I have to
I
say.
shan't stop until I've got it here. Don't
Yes.
worry.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid I have another question for you. With regards to daycare centre, I understand there's a public meeting on I think it's the 20th of...
No, it's not a public meeting.
It's not a public meeting.
No, it's not a public meeting at all.
No.
It's a meeting between the people that can, professional people and people that can assist. Okay, we sent an invitation out to the chair or the vice chair and the clerk of Brandon Town Council. We've got different organisations and people coming in. I'm arranging who's coming at the moment. We've got about 6 or 7 at the moment. I'm hoping to get about 12 people there.
Mm-hmm.
I think with a bit any fair wind line, that we should be able to get it resolved on there about that would be the end of January with a fair wind blowing. But there's a lot of work to be done.
Further to that, then, are you proposing to have having a public meeting or some public discussion as well? Could you just sorry?
What I'll do is, when we've got the problem resolved, I shall tell the council here.
Okay, fine.
But I should come back here. I mean,
Yes.
the meeting there, and we're going to call them the 20th, of people who actually can help, can put something in,
Yeah.
or know something about it,
Yes.
or knows avenues to work at. Professional people mainly.
Yes.
So, if you or the chairman comes and Graham comes, or Clark can come there, they'll be able to report as well on updates. What you can, because you can't say anything before that's been approved, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I understand.
You know.
Yes, good. So just to clarify, just in case anybody isn't aware, that the proposition is that the daycare centre is not being used sufficiently, and the perspective is that it might close. Is that correct?
Yeah, the numbers, to make it viable, do you really need around about 20 people per day? The numbers have gone down to 10. The grants from Suffolk and Norfolk have stopped, so that's a double whammy. So basically we want the grants reinstated, if we can get them reinstated, and the numbers to go up. And one of the things we're going to do to get the numbers to go up, we're going to contact people that have the free collection area as far as Thetford, Munford, Weeting, Felthall, Mildenhall, Lakenheath, and we're going to try and get them to put them on the websites, all about everything about it, and put posters up in necessary places to get more people on board, so that's better attended. That'll be one of the main things, and the other thing will be the financial input, and the two together, we may get the problem resolved. Is that right?
Yes, thank you. Councillor Bedlington?
Can I ask, is it since COVID that the numbers have dropped, or were they dropping before? I just wondered whether that had any effect
No,
on whether
that was just about viable before COVID.
Right.
They all dropped off in COVID, but they haven't come back.
Right, no.
They haven't come back.
No, I think this is in a lot of things.
Yeah,
Things
they haven't come back.
Yeah.
That's the
I
problem.
just wondered.
And they can only be gone for so long because they're losing money. That's right. and centre.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes. And I'm afraid I have another question. One of your items was street lighting. I don't know if you'd like to give just a brief
It's an extremely complicated issue. Victor's been working on it, Phil's been working on it, Council Mechanic and Phil Whittam, and Andy Neal and myself Andy Neal from Methwold, from Mildenhall, and me from Brandon have been working on it for the last 18 months. It's a complicated issue, very complicated. I can't see really why it's so complicated, but that's been made rather complicated, and facts and figures and numbers and everything have been flying around, and that's yet to be resolved.
Yes, I understand, just to summarise for the public, is that the issue is that Forest Heath, the old Forest Heath Council paid for all their lighting to be repaired and in place, whereas the original St Edmundsbury didn't, and yet we are now both pay the same council tax, and you are looking into the issue of trying to get some sort of parity.
I'll give council an example, right? Right. This last year, our bill for maintaining our streetlights, this council,
Yes.
was around £30,000 for maintenance electricity. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Bury St Edmunds Council, right? 4 times bigger, £40,000. Their bill was zero.
Yes.
Now that's fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll back that up, you too, won't you? You'll back this up?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I'll just try and explain it simply. West Suffolk Council pays the electricity for the old Bury St Edmunds area. West Suffolk Council does not pay us and the old Forest Heath area. We see that as injustice because our rates have been brought up to parity, so in effect we're not paying once but we're paying twice, and correct me if you think I'm wrong. Last week me and Councillor Whittam, we voted against the medium-term budget because there was no provisions in that budget to level up the lighting issue. I am sceptical. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
That's it.
I think those covered you answered the questions very well. Thank you very much on those different items. Thank you. So that leaves Councillor Whittam, your report, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, I will just say slightly on the lighting issue. Yes, when it was first raised, and it was raised when they immediately after they said we want parity in the rates, and they're going to charge us more. They were aware way back then, weren't they, David? That at that time they and I was assured in the assured in the council chamber by the leader of the council and by the portfolio holder that it would be resolved by this autumn. Well, it wasn't. So we went to cabinet meetings, and at the next cabinet meeting they kicked the can down the road and we will look at it in 2023. So we went to another cabinet meeting. Well, it's not our problem. So, but we have assured them, and it is the Conservative ruling majority that are doing this to Brandon and to the other boroughs in the old Forest Heath area, that it will not go away. We will not let go of it because it's Councillor Lukaniuk says it is a total injustice and it's immoral. So that's my little speech on that. Yes, we both voted against their medium-term budget for this autumn because there was no provision in it for starting even to level up the street lighting. We also voted against their big vanity project of a new sports centre and hub on the Western Way in Bury St Edmunds at a cost of some £70 million. 70 millions. And that's projected. I mean, you can, with the way that building costs and escalating labour costs and all the other costs, you could probably double that by the time they come to finish it. And we voted very strongly against that and were supported by quite a number of other councillors. We just see it as a vanity project when at a 20-year refit for the existing swimming pool and sports centre would cost 13 million. And that's about right for all the new plant and equipment that would be needed in there to bring it to modern, more efficient service. Anyway, one final thing. You may all remember that there was the Zebras Children's and Adults Charity here at our last meeting, and because of various issues, their request for £500 towards their charity was actually turned down by the council. I will report that Councillor Lukanyic and myself actually gave them their £500. So they are able to operate a little bit in Brandon. Well, they do anyway, but a little bit more in Brandon. And that concludes.
That concludes your report.
Thank you.
Councillor
Yeah, I've given you 3 issues, but the most important one I left out. And I wouldn't believe this. Right. Last week, the week before last, West Suffolk Council Development Control, that's the planning, voted through the new hospital in Bury St Edmunds. That's going to cost between 600 million and £1 billion. So the site's been secured, outline planning permission has been granted, the roadways and everything else. So now this will be funded in almost entirely from central government, as promised by the Prime Minister, not the last one, the one before that, okay, as promised. One of the so many around the country is going to be done, so the going to be built. So that's one of them, and it's been passed by the council, and the funding's going to be put together, and then that'll go to detailed plan permission. And if you look at the front of the hospital, it's to the right and right to the back on part of Big Hardwick Heath land. And it's an ideal place because they can build it there, and they can transfer the services across, like all the equipment and everything else, and all the patients. And the newer part of the existing hospital can be integrated into the new one. That's it. And the big manor house at the top is going to be reused for administrative purposes or mental health issues as well. So that's a big plus for area, because that will affect Brandon as well. That's likely to probably get approved in the next fully approved in the next 18 months, and it'll take 2 to 3 years to build, I estimate. So that's the biggie. I forgot that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chair, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you think it likely that with the old hospital that it will all be redecorated and refloored 3 months before it's shut down? Because that is the normal thing that the health authority do, and is a big reason why we have no money in the health service.
I sincerely hope that doesn't happen, but
I've seen it done in several
I've seen
hospitals.
builders painted in the week after been pulled down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't happen, but I can't guarantee it won't.
Any other questions for any of the councillors, please? No? Thank you. Then I'd like to ask any of the members of the public if they'd like to say anything. Yes? Yes.
I'm using my 3 minutes. We've got an application in, so I thought I might use this time to give you sort of an overview of why we're asking. St Peter's Church each church is a stand-alone church. We have to fund everything that we do. There isn't people think there's this huge central pot that we can draw down from. Now, dioceses can sometimes draw down from that central pot, like they did during COVID, to keep their cathedrals open. But we, as a little church, we can't do that. So we, as a church, we have to give, or meant to give, £60,000 to our diocese and parish share each year. That covers my stipend, which is £25,000. It covers previous previous priest pensions. It covers safeguarding, admin, PR, legal. Covers everything. Covers the house, all of that. So that £60,000 is what our church needs to pay to the diocese each year. Now, when I got here, it was only paying about £6. We've managed to get it last year up to £24. This year we managed to pay 27, and next year the expectation is we'll pay 30. So as you can see, our diocese has been really generous in giving us a waiver towards not having to pay everything that we need to in order to do what we do here in Brandon. It's been said before that perhaps, you know, if we're struggling, we should sell some silver or something like that. Well, we can't do things like that because whatever is in our church and part of our assets, they're historical and they are, and in our custody, you know, we are custodians of them. They should not all be sold. We have to maintain that continuity of looking after them for our town. The Church Institute, like you said, lots of things, like Day Centre, people just aren't coming back. Some groups are folded, so we are not being used as a resource by the town as much as we used to, as in people hiring us and paying rent. Now, even with that sometimes, you know, the usage of electricity and things that people use, sometimes we think, actually, we've not made a penny and we're actually paying them to be here sometimes because, you know, they are ultra consumers. But we want to do these things because it supports the town. We don't want to put our money up, you know, our rent up too much that we overprice ourselves and people just can't use us. So we are being used for parties and things like that. And we are trying to diversify what we're doing in order to create more income. However, when we've just done 3 hours worth of wrapping presents for families, we have to put the heating on. Where does that money come from? We have to find that. When we have a youth group, 3 hours on a Wednesday night with you know, a dozen young people of Brandon, we have to find that money. When we have a meal with 30 to 40 people, we have to find that money. Donations come in, but they don't cover it. So that is why we're seeking from you and other places help towards our bills, because they were around £300 to £350 a month. Our recent ones are coming in just under £1,000 a month. So it's really affecting us and what we want to do and how we want to serve the town. So that's why we're asking. We have pots of money in the church, but those pots of money are ring-fenced. We have to use them for what we have to use them for, like the fundraising for the caravan, like hardship that we've got funding for to help families who are struggling. We can't use that ourselves for our electric bill. So that's why there is a bid in today to request any help, and any help whatsoever. Well, every penny means it's a penny I don't have to raise. So.
Has anybody got any questions they would like to ask Reverend Coburn, please?
I mean, you might have some when it comes
When it
to
comes
it.
up, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Right, thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody else? Anything to ask? No? Oh yes, beg your pardon. Yes, would you like to stand up?
Good evening everyone in Net Meadows. Just like to say thank you for the lights, absolutely tremendous. And the Christmas fair was brilliant. Also like to thank Brian for his help with the Christmas fair to us all. And also Dave Palmer for all his help at Manor House Clubs, which has been absolutely brilliant, outstanding. Wouldn't have got half done if it wasn't for David constantly on the phone to Sapphire flagship. But thank you everyone for all your help this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody else? No? Thank you. So, do we have to do anything now? We need to vote back. Good. Let's just okay, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So we continue with the meeting then. Thank you everybody. So next point is correspondence. We have quite a significant number of emails regarding Christmas lights. Graham has given me some here. Basically, everybody seems very happy with the Christmas lights, which is very good, I have to say. Do you want to read them out, Graham? No.
Everybody's got them.
Everybody's got copies of the Christmas lights, the emails about the Christmas lights? Yes.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I think it's a hats off to the staff of the Brandon Town Council for all their hard work, really. It's such a successful event. Right.
Well, next year.
Yes. So there's no other correspondence, is there? No. So next item is to receive income and expenditure statement against budget for October 2022. Month 7. Is everybody, would anybody like
Just accept that.
just accept it? We don't discuss it now? No. Okay. Do I propose it?
Yeah.
Proposal?
Just noted.
Oh, noted. Oh, okay. Beg your pardon. Right. That's that done. So the next item is the grant application from Brandon Church Council. Everybody's got the information in their pack. Has anybody got any questions they would like to ask Evan Coburn, please? Oh,
We actually need somebody to propose this.
Have we got, how much have we got in there?
Sorry.
Do
Put me on the dot.
you want this bit?
Sorry?
Do I have to leave? Do you want this bit?
would you tell me go
We've got £10,000.
Right, thank you.
That's going to last us till the end of the financial year, I understand. March, yes. Yes. Have we got any questions for Evan Coburn? I have, I'm afraid.
No, we can't discuss it until there's been a proposal.
Oh, do we have a proposer? Do we have a proposer? Beg your pardon. They are. I don't know procedure. Proposer?
No, well, I'm not.
We're good?
Well,
We're good? Yeah.
I'll propose.
Yes?
I'll second.
Yeah.
So,
So it's all in. Then we discuss it and then we vote on it, don't we?
Mhm.
That's the procedure, isn't it? So, any questions?
Well, as the proposer, I suppose I better lead off, hadn't I? Look, anybody who knows me I'm not churchy, and instinctively my mind does not turn towards giving the church money. But with all these groups there that are likely to founder, I mean, if they've got to run the Church Institute on a revenue neutral basis, they're going to have to put the prices up for all those groups that meet there.
Mm.
They will probably not be able to afford it, and with a word in the right ear, they will all end up on our doorstep asking for funding so they can go back to using the Church Institute. So we could end up with the same result, only with 10 times the paperwork. So it seems to me that they are all bona fide groups. They all have a value to the people who attend, and it would be a great shame if, through lack of funds, they were discontinued.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else? Anybody else like to say? Yes, I have a question, I'm afraid. I've looked at your accounts. My question is that I appreciate that the Church Institute is part of the church. However, looking at the accounts, I would have liked to have seen the grant as the Church Institute on its own, devoid of the expenses of the church. So it might have given, to me reading it, might have given a clearer picture as to who uses it and your costs, your income and expenditure. Really, that's my only.
Yeah, we
point.
don't have that really because we'd have to go to our auditor, I suppose.
I was going to say your church accounts don't allow you to do that.
No, because it's one entity as far as the
Is it?
Church of England is concerned. Yeah.
Yes, because of course it's not going back as you said about the parish share. It's not of no interest. So I'm told as town councillor that I'm responsible for public money and how public money is spent.
Yeah.
So that's how we vote on what we give as grants. That's my thinking. So I'm not really interested in the fact that the church gives money as a parish share. But I am interested, obviously, in how the Church Institute is used, and all the people that use it and are able to use it because you run it as part of the church. So that would be my only comment about it.
The point I was making was that the diocese already help us. So
Yes.
to that extent. So we've really exhausted that avenue.
Yes, I understand. Yes. Yes, but you can understand it's not an
Yes.
expense. You understand that
I was foreseeing the questions that might come up and trying to help you navigate the complexities.
yes, yes. Yeah, I agree. Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make one point because earlier in the year, the Heritage Centre came to us for a small amount of money, and because they had £9,000 in the bank, we didn't give it to them. I see at the accounts here that the church have got a healthy £133,000 and £29,000 in unrestricted funds. But please don't accuse me of being mean by highlighting this, because I think the Reverend Coburn will confirm that I have been, in the past, I have helped the church financially on several occasions, you know, but I mean, what will we tell the daycare centre? Will we have to give money to the daycare centre? Will we have to give money to other community buildings? I mean, when I first read it, I had an intake of breath, because basically the request is to subsidise the Church Institute, the premises. Well, we've never subsidised other people's premises, never. If those community groups pay rental, if they think that's expensive, they can come to us, they can come to Brandon Town Council for a grant. There's not a lot of bureaucracy involved with that. I mean, or they can come to the town councillors, because we've got a locale. They can come to the town councillors and ask for money towards their room rental. I deal with about 20 requests per annum on that, and so do my other fellow councillors. You know, the bureaucracy is minimal. It's not overwhelming. The bureaucracy is not overwhelming. So really, I'm undecided how to vote for the motion, because.
So was there a question within that? Sorry. No, I thought you were asking a question, honestly.
Sorry?
I thought you were asking me a question.
No, it's just
Okay. I'll clarify a few things there. Within that, you'll see that there's lots of pots and things are restricted, and we can't use it for anything else. So, you know, there's 20-odd thousand which we can only use on the building itself, on the, you know, grade on listed building. You know, there's money in hardship, and of course that is. We're well into the years. You know, these funds are reducing constantly. Last year we dug into reserves to the tune of 11,000 to be able to meet our obligations. This year it looks like we're going to have to dig into those reserves by at least 15,000 plus more that we need for the energy going up. So therefore, you know, we are having to diversify to be able to get on a solid standing again, to keep going the way we want to go. But in this meantime, in this difficult time, it's just going to be proven really hard.
Any other questions? Yeah, I have another question, I'm afraid. So can you, as Councillor Kermick has a valid point,
Yeah.
that looking at your accounts. So what if we do your grant? As the total cost of the project is £6,300, and you are asking us for a grant of £3,000. Can you then say how you will spend this money?
I'll spend it by heating the building for groups that are meeting, and using it, being able to use the hall as a warm space in the January, February, March time, especially when the weather is going to be a bit tricky.
Yes.
So therefore, the things that we already do, but also hopefully looking at just a couple more mornings where we have a coffee morning in there as well, where people can come for a warm space.
I see. And that's how you propose to use the total of this amount of
Yes.
this money? Yes, I see. And, I mean, if necessary, again, because it's public money, you could, we can ask you in 3 months' time that you can categorically say this is how this money has been spent.
Yes.
Any other questions? Yeah. Councillor Whittam?
Well, no, it's not a question, it's part of the discussion around the table.
Beg your pardon.
I picked up on what Councillor Lucanik has said. We have never put money into buildings. as a council, we've put them into organisations to support organisations, like some of the groups that are mentioned. And if they're having to pay more to hire the hall, then it's not a problem for them to come to us here at the council, or as Victor says, to the councillors for help for their organisation. We will support an organisation in that entity, but not put money into buildings, and I don't think we should be putting money into buildings and subsidising buildings, because it's just not something that the council should be doing.
May I respond?
I was going to say that. If you said,
Well,
if you're going to say any more,
no. Well, I might.
can I? So,
So the point is that
Well, it's unusual that a member of the public would engage in the
Is it?
discussions
Jane,
around the
tell me
table.
Procedure, please.
It's, well, if they've
They
got
have,
something.
they have their 3 minutes and that's it.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Anybody got anything?
Yes, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Excuse me. Are we not supporting the groups that are in this building rather than the building itself? Are we not the community groups, the pantry, the crafters, the repair and share shop? Are we not supporting them rather than the building?
No, not in this instance.
Because without it, they won't have premises to meet.
Mm.
So we are supporting them. You disagree with me?
Yes, I do.
That's fair enough.
I disagree entirely. I think that if these groups come to us, crafters, and
I
say-
am those groups. I am those groups.
but it's us giving money to the fabric of the church.
No,
Councillor
no,
Bennett, please.
We are supporting those groups that are there,
Yeah.
surely. All right, you and I disagree.
We disagree.
Can I summarise?
Yes.
We're not putting money into the building, we're putting money into the organisation that runs the building so they can still afford to run it.
Mm.
And thus supporting the groups within. I see no problem with that. The money will be dedicated to that, it won't be put into general church funds.
No.
That would be a red line for me. But if we're assigning it for a purpose, it'll go to that purpose, and those groups will continue to be supported. And I think that's the most economical of time and effort and probably money that we could do.
Yes. Thank you very much. I was going to say, I was just going to sorry. Right. Can we vote then, please? So it's
So we've got
a proposal. We've got a proposal.
Motion to
Second.
second.
So those in
Show of hands.
those in favour, show of hands, please.
4.
Against?
Against.
Against? Abstain?
Extension.
Abstention.
Thank you. So that's carried, is it?
Yeah.
So you have your grant. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll pass it on
Good.
that you're helping to the groups and the people of that.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sure it'll be well used. Thank you. Right. Point 11. This is where I think you understand we're going to leave today.
It's number 11, is that?
Yes. That's
Yes,
it.
I've got to leave there because
That's
there's
it.
some council report through the West Suffolk Council.
Yeah.
Whose name I do know.
Yes. Yeah. So this is to point 11 to approve Brandon Roberts Plainfield's grant request for the second half of their allocation. Proposer, please. And a seconder, please. Right. Would anyone like to make up, Councillor?
Well, some might consider it slightly bizarre that I proposed it when I put a delay on it last time. But I have to say, in the intervening period, the following month we did approve it on condition that they got themselves running within charity law, and they have now done precisely what I asked. All of the management committee are trustees, every single one of them, and they have confirmed in writing that they've got trustees' indemnity. They were the two things I wanted. The first one, it was a fairly major one. It's only taken 22 years to get themselves in line with charity law, but they have done it. And I think it would be churlish of me at this stage, I mean, there may be other objections, but it would be churlish of me at this stage to vote against now. They've done what I asked them.
Thank you.
I agree entirely with Norman. There is one thing though. The trustees are not doing their job. We are actually funding football, and I have no objection to funding. In fact, I think I agree we should be funding the Remembrance playing fields because they are there for everybody in Brandon. But I am concerned that the football control it and they make a hell of a lot of money from that sports and social. And the trustees don't claw any of that back. Now, I'm not saying that if they did, I would vote for giving them any less, because I do support funding it. But I think they've gone a long way, but I think they've got another big step to take in trying to rearrange their, how they organise things. And the trustees really ought to claim some money back from when the footballers use the Sports and Social Club, and it makes quite a considerable amount. I know. I haven't got actual proof, but I've heard how much, and it does make a lot of money. Not against it, but it's just not being utilised correctly. That's the only proviso I would like to see, that they do something about that.
Has anybody got anything else they'd like to say? Good? No? Yes, I beg your pardon, Councillor Whitton.
Yeah, first off, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we had agreed that they would have their money this year, and it was in 2 payments. And yes, that it was delayed, but as you say, Councillor Vant, that they have met the requirements. I think if it should be paid as here and now, because otherwise the Remembrance playing field would fold. And that is something that we have traditionally always supported. But surely I do take up on your so I'm not feeling great. Observations over their sports club. And I have heard on the Grapevine too that they do make considerable amounts.
Yes, I mean, I'm nothing against any of it.
Well, no, but it's
obviously football is needed.
But in the same token, I have never seen accounts for the social club.
Yeah.
No.
You don't, because it's part of the football club.
Yeah, it's a part of
The social club,
It's a conversation in the camp.
sorry, can I answer?
Yes.
The trustees own the social club, but they don't run it. Because the cost of manpower, they let the football club manage it, they take the money, so the trustees, it doesn't come into their accounts.
That's what, right.
There's a load of smoke and mirrors going on here.
That explains why then.
Yes,
That there's no
the
accounts.
football club run it and take the profit, and the trustees never see it.
That needs
It's-
resolution.
Yeah, but
That's all I am.
the problem here is, what you're really saying is the management of the trustees is not doing its job.
Absolutely, it needs. So surely if we approve this payment here and now, which we should do, I think, we could put a proviso on that.
I would like to see that.
And I would even propose that as a
I would like to see the accounts for the football club and the ancillaries, because
yeah,
you've got the bowls club.
yeah,
Do they pay into it?
absolutely.
Nope. Do
Fishing.
do the fishing, the allotment. They've got all these assets, but nobody's paying back to the trustees, to the Remembrance Playing Fields. And as for Norman's comment, yes, I accept it, Norman. They have agreed on that, but they've now agreed to change the rules completely to back to where it was.
Tell me more.
They're applying to the Charity Commission to have just the 6 trustees.
Oh, have the Charity Commission agreed?
Charity Commission
They'll
normally do
agree.
agree. Not a problem.
Well, in that case, by the time we get to next year's
Yeah.
first instalment, we've got some leverage there.
Yes,
Then.
I'm not saying we shouldn't pay him, Norman, but I'm still upset that £500 of our money
Oh, yes.
that is going to pay a goodbye to trustees that have left. That's not on. That's public money going for a handshake.
Go on, because
I have had a reply on that, and it wasn't very, actually say, constructive.
Never mind, it happened.
Yes, I realise, but the premise was that we were going to try and get that back, and
No, they were not going to get it back.
No,
It's our money and it's gone. That's £1,000 we can't give somebody else as a grant.
And it was £1,000 that, according to the Charity Commission, was not allowed.
Yeah, no, it's
It
illegal.
was seriously not allowed, yeah. But I agree with Councillor Whittam. If we could put a proviso, get them to try and look at how they don't reap their money in, and ask them if they can make some sort of effort to recoup.
We're never going to win on this one unless we see the accounts for it.
Yes. But they don't obviously see the accounts from the football.
No.
At their AGM, they don't see, they should have, I would have thought, all the organisations should submit their accounts to me.
Please, excuse me, please. One at a time. Councillor Hetherington was speaking with regard to accounts. Have you finished? Yeah. Councillor Whittam?
Yeah, well, we put an amendment on it, on the substantive, stating something to the nature that by the next round of their finances, they will have accounts for the bowls, for the.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then we will not pay next time.
Go on.
Sorry.
What are you going to say?
I was about to say, should I not just put that in as a statement of fact, rather than
No, because if the whole council vote on that as an amendment to it, then
take it on.
yeah.
Well, perhaps we could word it a little bit less combatively.
Well, yeah, but we're sat round and, well, that's why we pay this gentleman here to.
Well, I accept the principle of an amendment,
Yeah.
but what would the wording be?
Can I say something? I think everybody had their say. Anybody else? My view is this: that we had a meeting with them earlier in the year. We asked them various questions. We have had nothing in reply in writing from them regarding this. We passed half-day funds last time. It was about 2 weeks after we had this meeting with them to give them time to actually answer our questions regarding their structure, their management, how their funds work, bearing in mind that the Remembrance Playing Field is indeed for the benefit of all the people of Brandon, not just for football but for all the activities that take place on the playing field. I've got something that I've written here that says budget from the 1st of March 2022 to the 28th of February 2023. Well, there's a lot of holes in this budget, and I do wonder again, as we have said before, that we are responsible for public money. The amount of money we give them, which I understand this grant will be how much, Graham?
About 30,000.
30. It's 30,000 effectively.
30,000 in total.
That's
We
per annum.
per annum, but we could use that money for other things. Budgets are going to get tight, particularly next year. I do wonder whether whether it's it's appropriate to give this money, as we have actually, and one of the questions that was asked is exactly how our grant is spent, of which we had nothing in writing in reply.
I think we should go some way to saying that yes, they have made an effort to get the organisation of it. As Norman says, you know, they have made an effort with that. But that's not the major point as far as I'm concerned. The major problem is this money, where it's going to. We're just putting money into a black hole.
Yes.
And also, in their constitution or governing document, whatever they call it, actually any person resident in Brandon over the age of 18 may go and vote at their AGM. Now that's never made known.
No. I went there and couldn't vote. They didn't have any votes.
No,
So-
this is what I've heard.
Yes. So
They need to look at everything.
yes, and just to further underline the fact about grants is that now everybody else who comes for a grant has to go under an S. Was it what number is it? S137. Yes. Well, and they are asked to provide a set of accounts. No, haven't had any accounts from the Brandon Remembrance Playing Field.
No.
Not at all. So why should we? We cannot scrutinise where the money is being spent if we do not get a set of accounts. My point. So, anybody else want to say anything? Should we vote then? So the proposal is that we give them the second half of
Second instalment.
the second instalment.
With the amendment.
I mean,
With an amendment, if you like the word the amendment then.
well, yes, because if you want to add things to it and
Yes.
make demands in association with I mean, I'll agree to pay them this one, but if you want to make comments added to it, whether they should be an amendment or whether it should be a letter written to them, I don't know.
We've tried a letter, and we've had a meeting, and we have had a minimum. We have had nothing replied in writing. Nobody's come this evening to make a case.
No.
If we paid this instalment and gave them a letter worded sufficiently strongly to say
An
that,
ultimatum, even.
Actually,
or yes, an ultimatum if you like, that if, you know, unless these matters are, you know, corrected and we're satisfied with their handling of the accounts, then the next, come April, when the next one's due, it won't be. You know, we look seriously at.
well, I don't personally. I don't think they've done enough to get this grant, but that will be just my one opinion.
I think they're very slow at getting what we
Well,
want.
I don't think they've worked hard enough at trying to actually justify how the public money is being spent. As I say, we're talking about £15,000. That's a significant, as far as I'm concerned, it's a significant amount of money.
It is there.
And that you think that money could be used elsewhere in Brandon? So should we have a vote, or Councillor
Just a quick comment, but there's a lot of talk around this table as though you're not getting value for money down there. It's £30,000 per annum. There's a full-time man works down there, and he's probably getting in the region between £12,000 and £15,000. He works all weekends. There's 300 or 400 mums and dads up there with their children. They're having a great time up there, right? He does all the white lodging. I mean, we haven't got staff who's going to work up there weekend. So that leaves £15,000 for the running cost of about 4 acres of land. There's some discrepancies there, I'm sure there is. There's discrepancies everywhere, right? But you're talking as though you're not getting value for money, and you are, because if that came into our hands, that will cost more than £30,000 a year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
It is, can I just answer you, please? I know I'm the chairman. Can I just answer you? We have to justify. We have to be shown that, if you like, that where the money is being spent. That would be, as I understand it, as my training as a town councillor. That, I'm afraid that would be my part. Everybody happy? Should we have a vote? Right. So the
we're
proposal.
we're voting to just make it clear, Madam Chair.
Yes.
We're voting to pay the second instalment.
Yes, as I understand it, that was the proposal. Yes.
Right.
So those in
That's
favour?
what it's-
Against? What happens?
You've got a split decision.
Oh dear.
Got cast in vote.
Oh dear.
But if you don't pay them, and I will mention this,
Yes.
you're putting a man out of work. There's a man going to be looking for a job tomorrow. That's
There's
what
no
the
need
decision
for
is.
it.
No.
How much have they got in reserve?
I haven't looked at their account.
Well, how can you say that statement there?
Yeah, because we don't know. And
Well-
we haven't looked at the football accounts either, so we don't know. So
We have precepted to pay them. We made an assurance that we would pay them, and now we've changed our minds. We've flip-flopped. That's what we've done. This
No.
council has flip-flopped.
no, no, I'm going to vote against. That's my casting vote. Be it on my head.
And you've decided what?
And I've decided to not pay the grant because that was my initial vote, and so I'm going to stand by my vote on
Right.
reflection.
Okay.
And I'm prepared to justify that.
I'm sure you are.
Well,
I just
no,
wanted to
I
be
have to-
sure.
no,
I
I-
didn't quite hear which way you were going.
No, I'm just saying this is for the public.
Yeah, so
Is-
what's plan B?
What do you mean, what's planned?
Well, basically you close
It's
the London
for-
football. You
no.
close the members' playing
No,
field
I
down.
haven't. No, I haven't. And I'd like it make it clear. I've batted it back to the management committee because I feel that they have not in any way showed us any respect in actually asking us why they want their money and how they are going to spend it. And that is my answer, I'm afraid. So, okay, matter closed. Thank you. Right, we'll move on.
Would you like me to invite Councillor Palmer back in?
Oh, yes.
Yes, please.
I've got to go. I've left
Yes.
some Christmas cards for you all.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed. Thank
Have
you
a
for
good Christmas.
Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you. Right.
Well, I better go and get him, otherwise.
Yes, no, she's just going.
You're just
She's
doing
going.
it.
She's going to tell David.
I shouldn't tell.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to take him outside.
I'm going to read it.
No, just with it.
I've slowed it up because that's
The
my
decision's been right.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's just so you just got people on around the table what are just anti-football or something.
No,
Not true.
I could not true.
I'm just anti-management down there.
Just anti-football.
I want it to be run better. I want it to be a better asset for Brandon. Sorry for the delay. We're just waiting for Councillor Palmer to return.
No, Victor, it's not anti-football. I mean, I don't like football, but that was never my reason for delaying last time.
Is he coming back?
And I
in?
don't think it's true this
He's
time.
coming.
Well, I just think it's worked all right for 25 years. All of a sudden, people come along and want to shoot you down.
Is Councillor Palmer? Is he coming?
No,
Thank you.
they didn't.
Thank you, Councillor
Well, I
Palmer.
just made myself a cup of coffee, didn't mind.
Didn't bring it with
Thank
him.
you.
There was one thing, I might be able, I've got to say something here. The next one, when I get the right agenda, 20...
12.
Yeah.
I better tell you about it.
We're on item 12.
Right, and up
Hang on a minute, 12. Okay, I can't take part in any discussion or voting or anything at all in the next two items. I've not put it in the book. If you record it,
Well, it's only to note the minutes anyway.
yeah, that's to note the
No.
minutes, but I can't take part in any discussion.
No.
No.
Okay, because
Yes.
I'm on the Development Control Committee, that when that comes up for a planning application, I may be expected to vote on it, so I can't have...
No,
We're going
votes
to
on it.
note it,
I was
so...
going to say we're only noting them. So.
I know, but you just so I can't, if there's any questions asked, I can't
Yeah.
answer them.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
As long
Thank
as
you.
you understand that.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
So we're just noting the minutes. So
Yeah.
move on.
Noted.
Noted. And the noting the minutes of the new cemetery working party.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Right. So we move on to the
14.
to point 14, which is a resolution from Councillor Skinner. The new cemetery working party recommends to the full council to approve the amended new cemetery layout.
Let's vote. I'll propose it.
I'll second.
Hang on.
So Penny's,
Yeah.
Councillor Penny's is
Any purposes?
proposing,
Councillor
Councillor
Whittam
Whittam,
seconded.
Yeah.
and
Should we discuss?
do we want a discussion about it?
Yes, I will.
Yes. Councillor Brads.
Right. Thames Water have just ended a hosepipe ban in November that's been going on for 90 days. The water that is supplying them is taken from the Little Ouse at Hockwold. So the figures we're getting recorded down there may well be erroneous at this particular year. I question on the plan why we're using double plot land to put a car park in a building. It just seems illogical to me when down the bottom it'll be single plots because of the water table. That's my only comment.
Thank you. Councillor Canning?
I'd just like to respond to that. If what is correct, Bobberstown's the best ground is at the front of the plot in the left-hand side, then that's obviously where we want the car park and the toilet block. I mean, cars weigh a couple of tonnes and the toilet block might weigh 20 tonnes. If the best ground is at the front on the left, then that's where we want the toilet block. But I dipped all those boreholes when I was chairman every month, and there was no water came up on a 6-foot roof batten. But just to make sure, me and Councillor Skinner with the digger, we went down there in the middle of winter a couple of years ago, and we went 7 foot down, and that's when the water started to seep into the grave. In my opinion, I'm backing what I saw with my own eyes. There's nothing wrong with the ground down there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just slight correction is that best land is actually on the front right.
Mm-hmm.
It graduates down over towards the left-hand side, and then the worst ground is the bottom left. But at the moment, it's all looking very good. But I have made the planning people, Evolution, aware of Councillor Crabb's comments, and they've taken that on board.
Councillor Whittam?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean the committee discussed this at great length. They have looked at it very closely. They have had public consultations, and every single member of the public supported the proposals as they have now evolved. It's not just somebody's idea, is it, Councillor?
All half a dozen of them.
Well, but that's better than none. And we've come up as a committee with this as a package, and I fully support it, as does, I'm sure, Councillor de Canuick and Councillor Fant and Councillor Everington.
I don't. I don't.
Councillor Crabbs?
Phil, I don't say it's wrong. I just say, is that the best use? And if the answer to that is yes,
I think it is.
then that's right.
I think it is.
But all I'm
Graham.
saying is, we have gates down at Hockwold, and when the river level drops low enough, they'll shut the gates to flood down, to send water down to London.
Yeah.
So sometimes the navigation on the Little Ouse is shut off.
Yeah.
That's when you'll get this end to rise.
Yeah. But if you look back during the couple of years ago, wasn't it, when Councillor Lucanic was going down there, was the period when the whole of half the Remembrance playing fields were flooded, and the contractors were held up for months over the weir, not the fish ladder, which I've never seen a fish on, by the way. And at that period, by observation, there was not a problem.
But yeah, the cricket pitch used to flood regularly, every years or so.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's before my time where the cricket pitch was. So,
where the allotments are now.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and it still does.
It still does.
Yeah.
Councillor Hetherington?
Yes, I'll just say that I do not support it, as Councillor Whittam knows. I go because it was a majority decision. But I think it is wrong because I think it's not looking far enough ahead, it's not looking at the site as a whole, and that when eventually they start burying further north, the people will park all the way down the road, and they won't park immediately inside the gate and walk down. And I think it's a shame because I think it could be looked at more as a whole. But that's just my view.
Who's first?
I was first. Just to respond to that, and I think everybody in the room should know, including the members of the public, we will be in that bottom left-hand corner between 50 and 100 years. All the activity will be in that bottom left-hand corner. That is a vast amount of room down there. And that's where the car park and the toilet and the burials will be for convenience. And that's why the working party done sterling work on it, and you're all part of the working party. We done sterling work on it. The public came along, and they all also gave an opinion as well. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I can still register my disapproval.
Yes. This is a matter of discussion. It's not a matter of criticism. It's and I would like to say, sorry, Councillor Whitting, if you go first.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Yeah. I would take issue over the long-term view because the roadway, as a compromise, we left as a full-width roadway right from end to end, with the turn at the end, so that on the hearse and parking can come and park along the road for the further end. So it is being catered for in the long term. But the maintenance block and parking initially, as Councillor Lacanic says, will serve us for 50 to 100 years.
Yes. My conclusion would be that actually everybody has a right to comment, and certain things come to light. That is why we discuss these matters, and everybody's opinion should be valued and taken. And it's Graham who then deals with the companies, and so that these points are put to them. So I appreciate all your comments and observations. So thank you very much. There's nothing else because it's not actually.
It is a
so
vote.
we vote. Do we have a proposal?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion second, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So should we vote?
Yes.
So in favour? In favour of
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
against?
Yeah.
Abstentions? What's that for?
4 in favour, 5 against, so majority.
So it's majority, so it's carried. Right. So we get to point 15, resolution from Councillor Mechanic. Brandon Town Council resolves to plant a tree in Victoria Avenue in dedication to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. If you'd like, over to you, Councillor Mechanic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you're wondering why this has come back, several people have got in touch with me. They were surprised that it didn't go through at the last council meeting. I mean, one councillor, and I won't mention a name, one councillor said, well, that's a bit tacky. Well, I thought that was a bit harsh. Planting a tree for the Queen is tacky. I thought that was a harsh thing to say. We've got a tree dedicated to Michael Vale in the avenue. That's not tacky. We've got...
Excuse me, who's Michael Vale? And where is he dedicated?
He was part of the team for 25 years. We've got memorial...
You locked in? There's a bottle here. Yes, okay.
Okay, sorry about the interruption. Great, carry on.
Honestly, family, you can't take him anywhere. As I was saying, the Michael Vale tree, that's not tacky, is it? Nobody's come to me and said that tree is tacky in the avenue. We've got memorial trees in the wedge. Those fruit trees are memorial trees. There's 6 or 7 people there. That's a nod to people who have passed. That's not tacky. We've got a memorial rose garden in George Street with people's names on those bushes. That's not tacky. And finally, and last but not least, we've got the memorial tree, Christmas tree, in the new cemetery for the 3rd year running. And you can write a little note on there and attach it to the branch, attach it to the tree. That's not tacky, is it? So basically, all I'm asking, that's a nod to the people who have passed. All I'm asking is for one tree dedicated to the Queen, Madam Chair, and that ends my case. Thank you, Madam.
Do we have to have a proposal and a second?
Not yet. That's what I was about to say. We need a proposal. So.
Councillor
I don't disagree with your idea, but I
We should
think
have a
one
second.
tree in the avenue that's being replaced, a replacement, is not quite the thing. And you don't put a memorial in somebody else's memorial. That is Victoria Avenue, and it was called Victoria Avenue for a reason, wasn't it? I think we should do something, but I think we need to decide where and have something a lot more special than sticking a tree in Victoria Avenue with a plaque on it.
Councillor Wilson, were you going to speak?
No, I was seconding the motion before it was
Just motion.
discussed.
So do we actually have to explain to you?
But we were halfway through discussing it anyway.
Before we started
I'll
talking-
propose. Phil will second.
So we've got a proposer for this motion is Councillor Mechanic, and seconder is
Yeah.
Councillor Whittam.
We'd already sorted that,
Yeah.
Chair.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, I do try and ask the clerk what to do.
Catching up. So.
Yes.
No, don't
Sorry,
worry,
Councillor
don't
Vance,
worry.
please.
Don't.
Councillor Vance, sorry.
I think it's a bit tasteless to commemorate one person in somebody else's memorial. And one or two trees for Queen Elizabeth II hardly seems adequate. I mean, she reigned for longer than Victoria, and arguably reigned better than Victoria. I mean, because she was in mourning for 40 of those years. I mean,
No afternoons.
I mean, I wholly agree with you doing a memorial of some sort
I
for
agree.
Queen Elizabeth II, but something a bit grander than that, and not detract from the existing one to Victoria. It may take a bit of planning, it may take a bit of difficulty coming up with some land somewhere to put it, but let's do it properly, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've had 6 months to discuss it, but nothing is done. I don't know whether you can recollect, you people, but I did put a piece of raw ironwork into the avenue, something quite substantial, but that wasn't acted upon. I mean, if you want to see what can be done in 3 or 4 months, you can go to Sandown Village and see what they've done. They've done it in time, in budget. They've commemorated the Queen's Platinum Jubilee with a new village sign. And nobody's come forward with anything what's going to stand the test of time, Councillor Van. That's why I'm requesting an ordinary tree, but to a special woman. And that doesn't change the name of Victoria Avenue because you leave a tree. There's a tree there dedicated to the Queen. With the greatest respect, Councillor Van, what would you like to have done? What is your idea?
Something grander. I don't know what. We're not commemorating here the Jubilee, we're commemorating her whole life. So the time is irrelevant. I mean, the Victoria Avenue wasn't done until some years after Victoria's death. They took their time to get it right. We need to take our time to get Queen Elizabeth right.
So you can give me an assurance that something substantial will be built?
I certainly hope so.
Councillor Whittam.
And I think we can't guarantee, though, we'll get it done before the elections.
Which elections are we talking about?
Your elections, I think.
What you're working so hard at the moment.
When you're really trying. For.
Yes.
Where did you get your ideas from?
Councillor Whittam.
Thank you. We do need something substantial.
Yes.
So could we not say, Victor, that we are open to proposals, but do go and look at what Sam and Downham have done.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite spectacular.
Right.
And we could do something like that within the town. Would that?
Well, I've waited 6 months. We've waited years because we knew it was coming, didn't we?
Well, yeah.
But nothing actually has been done. I don't see anybody trying to drive anything around this table tonight, and not even a tree. They're not even, the majority of people around this are not even prepared to plant a tree.
Well,
we almost exhausted this. Councillor Hetherington.
It has been, I have suggested something to the clerk. Where you put it is the main problem, but it is 7 trees.
Yes, that's what's been talked about.
Yes.
Yes, 7 trees. So, should we vote on it? So, those in favour of planting trees? And against? Abstentions?
The motion's failed.
Yes.
I think we ought to have some official, few people to get together to actually push this ahead. Because, you know, Councillor Kenneth is right, it won't go ahead otherwise.
We need to plant. If we're going to have 7 trees, we need to decide where they're going,
Yeah.
what they're doing,
And
you
we
know,
need to
and
have.
this is the time of year I would suggest as well to plant them. So in the winter time. So I suggest that we convene something in the new year.
Did anything happen?
Thank you. Let me tell you why the suggestion of 7 trees will never work. Because you're going to have to buy 7 trees, you're going to have to get 7 cages, and you're going to have to plant, you're going to have to water 7 trees in the middle of summer for 2 or 3 years to make them established. That will never work. There is no position in the town. I've walked around this town every morning for the last 10 years. There's no way you can put 7 trees in 7 cages and make it look attractive. Forget it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Might I suggest that you all go and look at Santon Downlands, and we could do something of that style, where it's substantive, attractive, and dignified.
And stand the test of time.
And it will stand up. What they've built there will be there 200-300 years from now.
Oh, let's go and have a look at it in
So-
a month and.
Yeah, there's
That's it.
lots of, but we do. I think Penny, your suggestion that we even created a working party that would look at this as an issue.
Collate some ideas somehow. or
Well, probably
other.
the whole council should do it.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I would like to suggest
I-
that somebody comes back. Councillor Hetherington, perhaps you might like to come back with some ideas of what we can do to celebrate the Jubilee
Yeah.
at the
Councillor
next
Buchanan.
council meeting, please. If that's
Yes,
not-
certainly.
Yes.
I'll
Thank you
bring
very
the
much.
I'll bring the wrought iron arch.
Yes, we
my
saw
re-
that.
my
There
resident.
was a council that stopped that though. There was some reason, wasn't there? There was some technical reason why
I'll
you
tell you
couldn't
exactly
do it.
what it was. We were going to hijack the stench pipe, and that new water wouldn't allow us to elaborate the stench pipe,
no.
which would have been an
But there
idea.
again, it's on the Victoria Avenue, Victor.
You're imposing on another memorial.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes, I'll come.
Yes. So you're going to bring back some ideas.
I would have
At
thought
the
the
next
ideal
meeting.
site would be this end of the Market Hill.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll leave it to
Mm.
you, Councillor Hetherington, if you
I
might
agree. Would-
like
would-
to bring
would
back
we
some
commission that?
suggestions,
Why
or
not?
I will bring back some suggestions.
yes, or set up a working party,
It's not-
something,
it's
so
not
that
out loud.
we get some sort of resolution
Forest
sorted out.
Yeah, throw in some ideas.
Mm.
They pinched, Forestry, they pinched enough of us in the
Oh,
park.
I know that.
Substantive.
Yes. Right,
Worth a
I think
try.
do I?
They pinched our old car park.
Now I've got to.
They pinched our car park around us.
What happens now?
Now, to get something there,
You've
it's
got-
great.
Well, you agree to the resolution.
What do I-
But I mean,
what do I
Forest
do?
Heath doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah, and then you
So-
bring it out. Competition.
So I've got a resolution to exclude the public and press.
Proposed.
Proposed.
Second.
Proposed second.
Vote. Do I have to say this bit because that was
Yes.
due
No,
to
we all know it.
the public
Never
body?